On back-to-back nights, after a victory against the Calgary Flames, the Detroit Red Wings have spoiled the Vancouver homecoming and debut of 4 new faces. 4 new faces? I gotta count it up, I think so, right? 3 new faces, and another one that did not suit up in the game. Detroit has just pulled off a comeback victory. Can you even call it a comeback victory? I don't know. The Canucks were up 1-0. But Detroit ultimately beats Vancouver 3-2 in overtime on this early 5 p.m. PST start in Van City. And this game was notable for Canucks fans because of the debuts of 3 guys. You had Filip Chytil making his debut at center. You had Marcus Pettersson on defense, and in the bottom 6 you had Drew O'Connor. A bunch of new guys from Pittsburgh, another new guy from New York. While Victor Mancini did find himself on the main Vancouver Canucks roster, he did not end up playing today. Instead, Rick Tocchet decided to go with Noah Juulsen, much to the dismay of many Canucks fans. Kind of ridiculous that Noah Juulsen was in. Not only was Mancini out in this game, but Carson Soucy was also out too. I don't want to disrespect Elias Pettersson because the guy came in here and he had scored an assist, but Soucy was not playing. Derek Forbort, Noah Juulsen, and Elias Pettersson were. No disrespect to DPD, but it's interesting how Rick Tocchet views the deployment of these guys. Like, I know Soucy has had a very inconsistent season. His ups have been pretty good, his downs have been terrible. Definitely isn't the same calming, sustaining presence like he was last year. But still, getting Forbort, DPD, and Juulsen in instead of Soucy? Like, what? There's some sort of an allergy to playing Soucy on the right, isn't there? Anyways, I don't want to make it seem like Soucy's presence in or out of the Canucks lineup is one of the biggest reasons why the game went the way it did. I just thought it was interesting how the hierarchy of bottom pairing, middle pairing defenseman goes on this hockey team. But the Vancouver Canucks were making headlines with their new guys here, and on a night where JT Miller in New York scored himself yet another 2 points, that guy's got 4 points in 2 games with the gosh darn New York Rangers. It's ridiculous how good he is looking with NYR. You couldn't have done that with Vancouver, man. Maybe he is going to be a 100-point center again. Who really knows? But tonight was an opportunity for Vancouver's new guys to respond and to prove their worth. And for the most part, disregarding the score of the game, disregarding the extra opportunities that were there that were fanned on or that were fumbled, I thought that the new guys played very well. Filip Chytil, he plays with speed. He's got dangles. He has got an ability to hold on to the puck and cut in through the guts of the ice there. I've seen a lot of people on social media memeing about how Rick Tocchet is going to coach that skill out of him, but we'll see if that actually does happen. We'll see if Rick Tocchet ends up eliminating the capacity for creativity that a guy like Chytil is able to execute. Rangers fans were already talking about this too, how this guy has this handles, he's got skill, he's got speed, he's got feet. It's just, he's got concussions too. That's the only problem with him and his profile, is that he's like maybe 1 or 2 concussions away from seriously ending his career because of all the injury trouble he has had in the past. But when he is on, hey, he's on. And he had scored a really beautiful goal in this game to tie everything up 2-2 to show off that worth to the Vancouver crowd. Drew O'Connor, fresh out of Pittsburgh, also a guy that I liked a lot. He plays with pace, he plays with determination. He's almost like that Kiefer Sherwood-esque mold, although a lot less physically inclined than Kiefer Sherwood is. Drew O'Connor played 14 minutes today, and he had himself a block. No shots, but he did dig pucks in deep and found himself in the board battle, so obviously there's value to be had there. He's a lot cheaper than Danton Heinen too, so as long as the Canucks are able to re-sign this guy, he should be a meaningful addition to that bottom 6. And then you had Marcus Pettersson, who played a very calm, steady game. He did what he did in Pittsburgh, just suffocated opposition play, played pucks up, and was able to suppress opportunities. Elias Pettersson, the defender, was also really strong in this game. His Corsi was off the charts. The amount of opportunities the Vancouver Canucks had versus the chances that Detroit had whilst Elias Pettersson Pettersson, Petey was on the ice, this kid might not need to come out of the lineup anytime soon. Maybe this is why he was playing and Carson Soucy was not. Lots of good quality play out of the top Vancouver Canucks acquisitions from the past few days here, but ultimately it's not enough as Detroit ends up winning the game 3-2 in overtime. Let's go over each of the goals here. First goal of the game scored by none other than Pius Suter. It was Elias Pettersson, Petey, who ends up throwing the puck towards the goal from the blue line, and Suter is right there in front of the goal to tip it down and by Alex Lyon. They had to review this one for a high stick. No high stick was called on the play, and it is a 1-0 game for Vancouver. However, shortly after, the Red Wings get a rush. A shot made by that Filip Chytil ends up going behind the goal and ricochets out to the far boards. Garland gives it away, and the Red Wings have a rush. It's Alex DeBrincat. He comes in, he shoots, he scores, cuts across the grain and shoots it opposite side on Kevin Lankinen. He cut right, the shot went left. Beautiful play there, Alex DeBrincat with his 22nd goal of the year. In the second period, you had yourselves Ben Chiarot making it 2-1 with a long wrister from the point that just gets by everybody. This was assisted by Soderblom and Berggren, so nice to see the Swedes getting involved here on the assist category. Berggren with a really nice pass all the way back to the point, and Chiarot takes advantage of the crowd in front of Kevin Lankinen. He beats him from far out, and it is a 2-1 game. It stays 2-1 until Filip Chytil, at the halfway mark of the third period, makes it 2-2. This was an unassisted goal, but Connor Garland was the guy who started the rush and brought it into the Red Wing zone. He kind of got approached by two Wings guys, and the puck found itself on Chytil's stick, who was walking right down Main Street, dangled through Chiarot, cut across to the side, and fired it into the goal. Really nice play there by Filip Chytil. That's the hands on display. That is the in-tight shooting accuracy on display there too. His 12th goal in the season and first as a Vancouver Canuck. It's deemed an unassisted goal. Maybe Garland should have had an assist, but I guess NHL.com is going to NHL.com. And then in overtime, the Canucks had some opportunities. The Red Wings also did have opportunities of their own. Kevin Lankinen forced to make a brilliant save on Dylan Larkin early on in the frame. You had a 2-on-1 rush with Boeser and Pettersson, where Pettersson had a really nice shooting lane, but instead of firing it on goal or scoring, he ends up shooting it high over the goal and it ricochets back out to center. The Red Wings have themselves their own opportunity, and Alex DeBrincat, really nice passing play. He goes over to Raymond, immediately back over to DeBrincat, and he fires into the open cage. Kevin Lankinen committed to the shooter right down the middle, and that is all she wrote. It is a 3-2 win for Detroit in Vancouver, and with this, the Red Wings have won 6 games in a row. Ridiculous. Montreal, we had spoken about them earlier in today's show. Yeah, they've been really slacking off, and they've been really bad. So, yeah, I think the Red Wings are the only team that I have that is one of my favorites that's actually going to go out there and make the Stanley Cup playoffs at this point. They're doing really well. Not saying it's guaranteed. They are still out of the playoffs technically if you go by points percentage. Or are they? Is it only Tampa Bay that's above them? I'm not really too sure. But anyways, the Wings have been stringing together wins, and this might be like some of the best hockey they've played in a while. They've been able to suffocate defenses and make sure that opposition don't get their best chances. Sure, the Canucks, they were without their own merits. They didn't have Quinn Hughes in the lineup, and that, of course, is a ridiculous hit. I mean, in overtime especially, you can see the Canucks rotating it around with Marcus Pettersson and Phil Hronek and everybody. No disrespect to those guys, but man, Hughes' absence on this team is truly one of the biggest losses you can have. But it gives the Red Wings that 6th win in a row, so good on them, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We're going to have Wings fans and Canucks fans in the comment section talking about this game. Canucks fans, what are your thoughts on the new guys and how they had performed? Let me know in the comments what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.